All right, I just watched Undertone, and I think the biggest thing I took away from this film is I should start a podcast. Like, seriously, it looked like a lot of fun. Put some headphones on, get a buddy, sit in a room, talk about some creepy stuff, listen to some crazy audio recordings, maybe dim the lights a little bit. Actually, now that I think about it, that may be the wrong idea to get from this movie. So let's talk Undertone. Hey everybody, welcome back to Reel Jenkins. If you're new here, this is the channel where we talk about movies, especially horror, monster movies, and anything weird enough to keep us going back to the theater. And today, that movie is Undertone. This is a smaller horror movie that centers around a podcaster who her and her co-host receive mysterious audio recordings, 10 of them to be exact. And as she and her co-host listen to them, things around her start to feel, well, a little off. And what makes this movie interesting is that it's very audio driven. A lot of the tension doesn't come from what you see, it comes from what you hear. And honestly, that's where this movie shines. But before we get into the good stuff, let's talk about the big question everyone has when it comes to horror movies. Is this scary? Now, I'm just going to say this up front. This movie did not really scare me at all. But you should also take that with a grain of salt, because I think in the last 20 years, only 2 movies have really scared me. And that's Sinister because of the one scene, and The Conjuring because of the one scene as well. So my horror tolerance may be a little bit higher than yours. This does a good job at creating that atmosphere, so it might absolutely work for you. It might scare you. Because with that atmosphere it creates, it could definitely get under your skin. It just didn't quite hit that level for me. But that doesn't mean it doesn't do some very interesting things. So let's talk about those. The audio design in this movie is phenomenal. There's nothing else to say there. It is absolutely phenomenal. Like, that's the strength. That's what the movie's about. If you're going to see this movie, do not watch it on a tiny TV with small speakers. Go to the theater, watch it in Dolby, watch it in IMAX, watch it in whatever theater has the best sound system around you. That is the one thing I can recommend when it comes to this movie. The entire experience is built around that audio, and the better sound system you see it in, the better your experience will be. I saw it in the Dolby. It did some really cool things. Like, you hear the whispers travel across the room. So in the Dolby, they travel across the room, quite literally. You have subtle background noises that are moving around the theater. You have strange distortions in the recordings, and they're moving around your theater. There's times where you hear people talking, and it's like in the corner of the room, and it's literally coming from the corner speakers in the theater. It was awesome. It's a great experience. And it's one of those movies where you are just listening really hard, trying to catch every little sound. And that kind of leads into one of my favorite aspects of this movie. It kind of plays with the idea of what's actually happening. The main character spends a lot of time listening to the recordings with her co-host, and the movie just constantly messes with you when she's listening to those. Because when she puts them on, everything goes silent. But then you hear these sounds. And some of these sounds, you're questioning whether they're in the recording or they're outside the recording. And sometimes you're wondering, did this just happen in the room or what? And you can tell that she's also thinking the same things when she's looking around. The movie just leans into that confusion and makes a great atmosphere. You hear something strange, the character will pause, and you're both you and her sitting there wondering exactly the same thing. Was that in the recording, or was that actually behind me? And that kind of psychological tension just works really well. I think it's done really well in this film. Phenomenally. It's not relying on jump scares. It's more making you question what you're hearing and keeping you on the edge of your seat. And the sound design just really carries that and is very strong in this movie. Another thing I really liked was the camera work. A lot of this movie takes place in one room and one hallway, and the director does something really clever in both those areas to where the camera just kind of pans around very slowly in a circle. It's so slow sometimes that I'm like, can I just grab the camera and move, please? I just want to see what's... And it just goes so slow, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's almost like somebody is there observing, and it gives you this unsettling feeling that someone might be there just outside the frame, or that something is about to pop into frame as you're scanning around the background. It's simple, but extremely effective in this movie. This movie does a really good job of things like that with the audio and with the camera to build that tension over time. And they slowly get all this information from these audio recordings, which start to connect and the story starts to unfold, and it starts leading to this big moment. And I love all of that. I love the research she does on the nursery rhymes that are playing, all this stuff. But for most of the runtime, I enjoyed what this movie was doing. But unfortunately, that does lead into what I didn't like. And without spoiling anything, this movie just kind of builds and builds and builds, heads towards this climax, and then cuts to black. And all you hear is things happening through audio. Now, I understand that's what they were going for. That's the whole idea of this movie. It's all about the audio recordings. But personally, I wasn't a huge fan of what they did there. I wanted a bigger payoff, and I wanted to see the payoff. And ending with just the recording and a black screen is not what I wanted. It just didn't stick the landing for me there with the ending. Now I'm going to give Undertone a 7 out of 10 and place it in the see it category, especially if you can see it with a great sound system. That's going to be the best experience for you. It's definitely worth watching if you like atmospheric horror, creative filmmaking, because it has a lot of that for me. I just wouldn't go into it expecting the scariest movie of all time or the scariest movie you hear. Don't give into that. Just go into it. Let me know what you think there. But that's just my take. If you've seen Undertone, let me know in the comments. Did the ending work for you? Did it scare you? Did you want more from the final moment like I did? And if you enjoyed this review, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and keep coming back for more videos because I'm going to keep posting. Right now I'm in the middle of doing my Monster March, so every day there's a monster movie I'm talking about. And who knows, maybe one day we'll start that podcast. But we'll keep the strange audio recordings out.